All right, Shalom. First off, I want to start up by saying all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakadash, double honors to, that's all praises who the world calls God, and Jesus Christ, whose true names in the Hebrew is Yahweh for the Heavenly Father, and Yahushai for his beloved Son. Also want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, preaching this word in truth and sincerity, the men, women, and children that believe and are destined to be saved. I'm the brother Tazabot in the Great Millstone, Arizona camp with another video to edify, Lord willing. Let me go right to it, man. I forgot who I was watching. I think it was Elder Yashawamba. Who was going into this scripture, and a part of it hit me where I was thinking about, how to link everything in the scriptures that talked about one subject to this matter. So the Spirit, fed me some precepts, so I'm gonna feed you. So this is Daniel's 2 and 40. I started 44, and in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but shall break in pieces and consume all kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. So, you know what? I got to start up at 42nd verse. It says, and as the 10 toes of the feet were part iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Now those 10 toes go into 10 principal nations, which are basically your original EU states. Now, if you give me a second, I'm going to find this picture. Now, when you go into the 10 toes, it's the same as the 10 horns spoken of in the book of Revelation. So those 10 toes right here, as you can see on the screen, came from the EEC, the European Economic Community, which was changed to European Union. It was Belgium, Denmark, Italy, France, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Ireland, England, and West Germany. Now, all these are the chief Edomite nations. Now, some of these nations are stronger. Some of these are weaker. England, stronger state. Germany, stronger state. Greece, weaker state. That's the miry clay right there. Italy, weaker state. France, a little stronger. These are all your EU nations, all these Edomite nations. It's the same that's spoken of in the book of Daniel, in the book of Revelation, right? Those are those 10 toes. Now, verse 43, it says, whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves together with the seed of men, and they shall not cleave one to another, as iron is not mixed with clay. You see? So those stronger nations, those weaker nations, this is where you get the Brexit going on right now. And within that Brexit, within all these countries trying to get their economic freedom, with less freeloading. That's really what it was. That's why, they wanted a Brexit, is because the stronger nations have to hold up the infirmities of the weaker ones. So within that, they have some scuffles, right? Verse 44, it says, in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. And this is talking about the kingdom of heaven under Yahushai. When Yahushai comes back, he's that one that's going to break these nations, right? It says, verse 45, it says, for as much as thou sawest the stone cut out of the mountain without hands, and it break in pieces, the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, going into that whole statue, because the Lord is going to beat down all these nations. The great power hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. And this is what hit me. the dream is certain and the interpretation is sure, because that same dream and that same interpretation was repeated over and over in the scriptures. Let me get this, Habakkuk 2 and 1. I will stand upon my watch to set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what it will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain upon tables, that he may run that read it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So this is what the Lord's word is. This is that the dream certain and the interpretation true. That the Yahushua is going to come back and put all these kings in a place and put Israel up, and we're going to be a kingdom forever, never going down again. Now, Salakia, I have to change rooms. Damn, back is killing me. So I want to go in some extra precepts, man. This is Numbers, backing up this whole thing of the dream is certain and interpretation is true. This is the same thing that Balaam saw. Now this is Numbers 23 and 13, and it says, and Balak said, come unto him, come I pray thee, with me unto another place, from whence thou mayest see them. Thou shalt see but the utmost part of them, and thou shalt see them all, and thou shalt not see them all, and curse me them from thence. Now Balak wanted Balaam to curse Israel, right? Now I'm going to jump down to 16. And Yahweh met Balaam and put a word in his mouth, and said, go unto Balak and say thus. And when he came to him, behold, he stood by his burnt offering, and the princes of Moab with him. And Balak said unto him, what hath the Most High spoken? And he took up this parable and said, rise up, Balak, and hear, hearken unto me, thou son of Zippor. The Most High is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. He hath said, and he shall not do, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? You see? So this is what the Lord spoken, that he's going to make good. It says, behold, I have received the commandment to bless, and he blessed, and I cannot reverse it. You see? He says, he had not beheld iniquity in Jacob, neither had seen perverseness in Israel. Yahweh is his power and is with him. Yahweh, his power is with them, and the shout of a king is among them. And that king is Yahushua, right? That shout of the king, that lion in the wood, right? Now I'm going to jump down to verse, I'm going to go over to, I'm going to jump down to verse 20. I'll just keep reading through. It says, the Most High had brought them out of Egypt. He had, as it were, strengthened. He has, as it were, the strength of an unicorn. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time, it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, what had the Most High wrote. Behold, the people shall rise up as a great lion, right? That's that great shout, and lift up himself as a young lion. He shall not lie down until he eat the prey and drink the blood of the slain, meaning we're going to be getting down. But this all starts with Yahushua, right? And Balak said to Balaam, neither curse them at all, nor bless them at all. But Balaam answered and said unto Balak, told not I thee, saying, all Yahweh has spoken, that must I do? See, this is the interpretation that's sure. This is what the heathen were trying to get away from. This is the fact that even when you go back all the way to the book of Numbers, it was destined that Israel at the end of days would be set up and the nations would lose. This is Numbers 24, and I'll start at 4. It says, he hath said, which heard the words of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. So, right, the dream the dream is sure, and the dream is good, and the interpretation true, right? Sure. It says, verse 5, how godly are the tents of Jacob, O tabernacle of Israel, as the valley are spread forth as gardens by the riverside, as trees of line aloes, which Yahweh had planted, and as cedar trees beside the waters. He shall pour the water out of his bucket, and his seed shall be made many waters, and his king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. And who was Agag? Agag was the king of the Amalekites, the fucking Edomites. And who are the Amalekites? Who you would call so-called the Jewish people today. What happened to Agag? The Lord had the prophets hew Agag to pieces, right? Prophet Samuel. It says, the Most High brought him forth out of Egypt. He has as a war the strength of a unicorn. He shall eat up the nations, his enemies, and shall break their bones and pierce them through with arrows. And what are those arrows, man? Them ICBM missiles, right? Yahweh Shai is going to have his hand in all this. This is verse 9. He crouched, he laid down as a lion, and as a great lion. Who shall stir him up? Blesses he that blessed thee, and curses he that cursed thee. Now I'm going to jump down to verse 16. It says, he had said, which heard the words of the Most High, and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision, right? He has said that, heard the words, and knew the knowledge of the Most High. Right? Going back to that Daniels, right? The dream and the vision is sure, right? He had heard the words of the Most High, and knew he which heard the words, he had said which heard the words of the Most High, and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty, fallen into a trance, but having his eyes open. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. Neither shall come a star out of Jacob. It says, there shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall raise out of Israel. Who is that scepter? A scepter goes into rulership. Who's going to rule at the end of the day? Is Yahweh Shai. So that scepter that came out of Jacob, or out of Israel, is Yahweh Shai, and shall smite the corners of Moab and destroy all the children of Seth, the so-called Chinese, right? And Edom shall be a possession, meaning Edom's going to go into slavery. You read that in Revelation, what is that, the 3rd chapter? He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. I think that's Revelation 13 chapter, actually. It says, Edom shall be a possession, Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies, right? Because Judah's going to get that land. When you go into the scriptures, it tells you Esau's going to be cast out like an abominable branch. And he's going to be the only nation that doesn't have an inheritance, because he's going to be scrubbed off the face of the earth. Obadiah, in the book of Obadiah, you can read that. And Israel shall do valiantly. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, talking about Yahweh Shai, and he shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. It says, and when he looked on Amalek, he took up this parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. And Amalek is only a bloodline of Esau, Edom. So all of Edom is going to perish forever after they serve out their captivity. It says, and he looked on the Kenites and took up this parable and said, strong is thy dwelling place. And it says, and thou puttest thy nest in a rock. Nevertheless, the Kenites shall be wasted, and Ashur shall carry thee away captive. It says, and he took up this parable and said, alas, who shall live when the Most High doeth this? It says, and his ships shall come from the coast of Chittim, and shall afflict Ashur, and all afflicted, and says, and shall afflict Eber, and he shall perish forever. So at the end of the days, Israel's going to get the dominion and the rulership over all these nations. This is the dream and the interpretation, right? Now, when you go in the book of Second Ezra, the 12th chapter, Second Ezra 12. And start at verse 10. It says, "And he said unto me, This is the interpretation of the vision. The eagle whom thou sawest come up from the sea is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel." So let's go back to that Daniel real quick. So Daniel 2. And 45. Now that vision is talking about when it's going to the four beasts, right? But that stone that was cut out with our hand is what it's getting at, right? The fourth beast was going into the Roman Empire. Now, we'll go back to that Habakkuk, or that Second Ezra, Salakia. Second Ezra 12 and 10 again. It says, "And he said," it's verse 11, it says, "The eagle which thou sawest come out of the sea, come up from the sea, is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel, and it was not expounded unto him. Therefore now I declare it unto thee. Behold, the days will come that there shall rise up a kingdom upon earth, and it says, and it shall be feared above all the kingdoms that were before it." Now you go into the Roman Empire and said, who can make war with it? Just like America, who can make war with America? Even now, people, these nations, even though they're having all these military advancements and all this, they got to be real hesitant about an all-out attack. Because America alone, man, it has firepower, right? Verse 14. "And the same shall 12 kings reign, one after another, and the second shall begin to reign, and shall have more time than any of the 12s. Now, this goes into the 12 Caesars, right? The first 12 Caesars of Rome. Now, that's all I'm going to get on that. Now, I'm going to go to this book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, because it starts breaking down his dream. Oh, here it is, verse 31. And I'll go to Revelation 13. Verse 31. Now, we read about that lion, right? Now, verse 31, it says, "And the lion whom thou sawest rising out of the wood, and roaring, and speaking to the eagle, and rebuking her for her unrighteousness with all the words which thou heard. This is the anointed," which is talking about Yahushua, right? You know, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, right? "This is the anointed which the highest had kept for them and for their wickedness unto the end. He shall reprove them and shall upbraid them with their cruelty. It says, "For he shall set them before him alive in judgment, and shall rebuke them and correct them. For the first of my people he shall deliver with mercy, those that have been pressed upon my shoulders, and he shall make them joyful unto the coming of the day of judgment, wherefore I have spoken unto thee from the beginning." Now, the first of the people is talking about the first fruits, the first ones that were on the earth. You see, this is the same vision that was talked about in Daniel. This is the same vision that's talked about repeatedly in the scriptures. Yahushua coming, we getting the rulership, and all the nations getting put down. This is Revelation 13 and 1. It says, "And I stood upon the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns." Showed you that picture in the beginning, right? 7 heads and 10 horns. We got into the 10 horns right there. It says, "And upon his heads 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemies. And the beast which thou sawest like a leopard, and his feet as it wore the feet of a bear," because Russia, when you go into the feet, it goes into being the end of a thing. So Russia is synonymous with that bear, because through Russia, when you go into Gog and Magog, the book of Ezekiel, they're going to be the ones to lead a charge against this place and to unite all these other nations to fight against America. It says, "In his mouth as the mouth of a lion, And it says, and the dragon gave power, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Who's the dragon? NATO and the EU. That's that whole beast system, right? The dragon, what? All those nations gave authority to America. So this is the same vision spoken of all throughout the scriptures. All throughout the scriptures. Over and over again. This is when it goes back, and I'll go back to that Daniel 2:54. Salakia. 2:45, Salakia. Daniel 2:45. For as much as thou sawest the stone that was cut out without hand, and let me get that stone real quick. There's that stone. Second Ezra 13 and started one. It says, and it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waters thereof. And I beheld, and lo, the man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, talking about Yahushai, whose chariots are as thousands, even 20,000s, thousands of thousands, right? It's talking about Yahushai. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled under, all things that were seen under him, all things trembled that were seen under him. And whatsoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like the earth fell when it filled the fire. And it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea, talking about Yahushai. But I beheld, and lo, he graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. That great mountain is that chariot of the Lord, right? So let's go back to that Daniel's 2:54. 2:45, so like, yeah. Daniel's 2:45. This is the same vision, right? For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, right? That chariot, we just read it in Second Ezra. It says, and it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, all the kingdoms of the earth, right? The great power, it says, the great power hath made known to the king what shall come to pass there hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation is sure. So this is certain and sure. This is what you have to look forward to. This is how we know that the Lord is about to put you heathen down. You know? So Lord willing, this is edifying. Brothers got some more precepts to add to the arsenal. I'm going to say the water, Yahweh Shem Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Shalom.